was perhaps the greatest spin bowler of his generation, one of the most successful captains of the Indian cricket team, and perhaps one of the few cricketers who's continued a meaningful association with the game after his retirement. So what makes him tick? Is it his incredible energy or his indomitable spirit? Let's see if he tells us as I introduce you to Bishan Singh Bedi. Welcome to the program, Bishan.
Thank you, Karan.
You have 13 brothers and sisters, and you're the 14th in the family. What was it like being the youngest in such a big family?
Yeah, but it was a big family, and as far as I know, there were only 4 sisters, and I was the only one.
You never got to see the others?
No, there wasn't a male child surviving in our family. And I used to joke with my mother. I said, ever since I arrived on the scene, I never allowed anybody else. But, you know, to be fair to her, I mean, she was a typical housewife. And all she did was perhaps wait for me to arrive.
And did she spoil you when you did?
No, not at all. Neither her nor my father.
Now, your father was also president of the District Congress Committee. So did this mean that there was a lot of political activity around you as a child?
There was quite a lot of political activity, but I was never interested in that. And my father was a very low-key. He was the president of the District Congress Committee, and he saw 2 or 3 chief ministers go through his management, but he never had any ambition.
And he consciously kept his children and family away from politics.
Away. And you'd be amazed when he died, and I was grown-up adult. And the first time I ever went to see his liabilities or his assets in the bank, and the current account, he had 37 rupees and 75 paisa left. Tell me how many of the congressmen would claim that today?
A different generation. He was a fan of tennis, wasn't he? And he was very keen that you should take it up.
He was a keen tennis player himself. He wanted me to play tennis, but my coach, Gyan Prakash, he stopped me. He said, you'll damage your elbow, and that's not good for your bowling.
In fact, your involvement and attraction to cricket began when you were 12, when you heard a cricket commentary on the radio. Do you remember?
I did. And this was a test match between India and West Indies in Kanpur. Pardon me. Subhash Gupta had taken 9 wickets. And that is something which spurred me on. And I had never seen Subhash bowl, honestly.
So did you suddenly visualize yourself as another Subhash Gupta?
No, I didn't, because I was a left-hander. It just gave me some kind of spurring on.
It certainly
did. And one of the reasons I took up cricket was that I was grossly unfit. I was terribly obese. So I was the butt of all jokes in school as well as at home. So I had to do something to get fit. And I think cricket was a lovely medium.
So cricket was your way of losing weight?
It was.
In fact, you took up cricket with such incredible flair. 3 years later, at the age of 15, you made your Ranji debut. What did it feel like at that age, playing for Punjab?
It felt pretty good, because I never expected. I think I was very lucky. I got the right breaks at the right time, and I was able to capitalize on them.
Do you believe in luck?
Well, in India, you better believe in luck. The element of luck is very important, because only 11 of you can play for the country, in a country of quite a few million people.
And luck has been an important part in your life?
Very, very important. I think I got the lucky breaks at the right time, and I made the best of them.
But along with luck, there were 2 people who were enormous influences on you. One of them was your coach, Gyan Prakash. How much of Bishan Singh Bedi is his creation?
Right, let me put it this way. My father was my Dharampita, right? He brought me into this world. And my Karampita was Gyan Prakash.
So you owe everything to him?
I owe everything to him. I worship him.
What about that incredible lofting, curving spin technique that everyone used to write about? Was that
No, he never told me anything about spin bowling, funnily enough. But what I admired him for was that he gave me enormous amount of cricket sense. I used to spend hours with him just talking cricket in his office in the college. On the field, he would never come and tell me anything. And there were a few times when people pointed out that we have never seen you talk to this young kid. And his reply was that I don't need to talk to him, because every time I see him, he's got a ball in his hand. and he's never tired of bowling. So.
Now, the other person who was a great influence in your life, I gather, was not just a friend, but also your manager in the days when you were a Delhi player, B S Ratan.
Yes, Dr. B S Ratan. He is now vice principal of Khalsa College. When I first came to Delhi, he gave me a lot of, how should I put it, a lot of courage to be self-reliant. You know, being the only son in the family. And I land up in his flat and he tells me to broom the house, to do the utensils and do your own washing.
So he had you washing, cooking, scrubbing,
Everything,
cleaning.
everything.
You were a sort of general dog's body.
I was, and I enjoyed it. And I think I owe it to him that he gave me all this self-reliance and the confidence.
He made a man of you?
He did.
Now, it was on, I believe, New Year's Day 1967 that you first played for India. But I believe that wasn't just the first time you played in a test match, it was also the first test match you've ever seen.
That's true. And I never expected to play because I was not in the squad originally. They had announced the 15, and I was just told to go to Calcutta to practice with the boys. And I remember on the eve of the game, around 9:30, 10 o'clock, somebody came to my room and he'd heard it over the radio that the 11 which was selected. I wasn't informed by the captain or the manager.
Really?
No, I wasn't.
So if this friend hadn't told you,
I had in fact packed up my bags to come back to Chandigarh to play in the intervarsity game for the Punjab University.
Another example of luck?
It was. But once I was told that I'm playing, I couldn't sleep that night.
In fact, you did brilliantly because on your first day you took 2 wickets. The moment Patodi took that catch from Butcher and gave you your first scalp for India, did it feel special?
It felt great. And it was a brilliant catch by Tiger. And he was feeling extra cover. And Butcher played me over the top. And I thought it was just another 4 perhaps. But Tiger went back, ran about 10, 15 yards. And then he leapt high in the air and plucked the ball with his 2 fingers. Brilliant catch.
Now, Tiger Patodi, your first captain, says that when he began playing, Bishan wasn't the world's greatest fielder, but through sheer practice, effort and determination, he made himself the safest pair of hands in the team. Would you accept that?
I think Tiger is very kind. I have always believed I was a very limited cricketer. I was never a good athlete. And that's one of the reasons why I put so much of emphasis now on physical conditioning and physical fitness. I really do. And my biggest regret is that I was never a natural athlete. And I couldn't bat for nuts. So I had to do something to pull my weight in the side, something extra. And, well, I was fortunate. I had a very nice and smooth bowling action. And I worked at it, and I worked at it, and I worked at it.
So hard work and persistence was the secret of your success.
Perseverance, yes. I played well with my limitations. And I was again very fortunate to have played my first test under Tiger Patodi. He was very caring, he was very understanding. And I have a lot of time for him. I think he was one of the finest human beings to have captained India.
You became captain in '76, and many people say your greatest moment was that triumphant victory at Port of Spain in the same year, when India won in the 4th innings, scoring 406 for 4. Was that luck, or was that in fact an example of Bishan Singh Bedi drawing out the best in the team?
No, I wouldn't like to take any credit for it, because Sunil Gavaskar scored 100, Vishwanath got a few runs, so did Jimmy Amarnath. But we were determined to chase that score.
But you were written off, by the way, the day before.
We were written off because Clive Lloyd had given us a declaration. And I think it was brilliant application by these batters. You'd be amazed, Karan, that I've been a member of a side which has scored 400 runs on 3 different occasions. On one occasion we finished up on the winning side. On another occasion we lost. And on the 3rd occasion we drew the game. So India is the only side which has scored 400 runs in the 4th innings.
Are you also saying that there was a bit of luck in the fact that this time you won, whereas in the other 2 you didn't?
No, there was a lot of effort behind it. We had planned it in a way that if our first 5 or 6 mainline batters would see the second new ball through, we'd get the total.
Now, in your time, you were involved in quite a few controversies. The first was way back in 1974 when you mysteriously got dropped from the side and the board said that you'd spoken out of turn in a British TV interview. What did you say?
Oh, I was only talking to young kids. And there's a coaching program. I was on the television along with Tony Gray.
What did you say to them?
No, we were just teaching them. And as for the contract, I'm amazed that how cricketers and officials are getting away with murder now. And for my simple appearance on television, and mind you, I was playing professional cricket then for Northampton.
And for that one appearance, they dropped you.
They disciplined me, I was not considered. And when it
And
came,
the reason being that this is flouting your contract.
the reason was slightly different from what they're trying to project. But I know it for sure. And there were some people in the board who were determined to dig my grave. Unfortunately, they couldn't.
Now, in fact, in 76, 2 years later, you were back in controversy. The English press, do you remember, erupted in furor because they thought you'd accused John Lever of using Vaseline. What happened?
Yes, they were using unfair means. They were tampering with the ball, and it happened in Madras. But they were doing it in the previous test in Delhi, as well as in one in Calcutta. And once they were caught in Madras, so
Did the
my
press
stand was vindicated.
But did the press make you a fall guy?
Not the press. It was my board. They didn't stand by me.
Once again, the board let you down.
Definitely. Not only me. They let the Indian team down.
Very soon after this incident, your contract with Northamptonshire suddenly got terminated. Were the two connected?
I'd like to think, yes, they were. Because...
so they were punishing you for the fact that you had spoken out against John Lever?
I had spoken up against the English side, not just one individual. It was unfortunate that John Lever was caught. Well, there were others who were doing it.
And the English were punishing you in a sense?
They were, because there is a saying in the English corridors of cricketing power that nobody ever dare call a white man a cheat and get away with it.
And then it happened again in 1976, didn't it? You were captain. You declared it 1975 in the Sabina Cup match, and they said that you were unsporting to do so.
Sabina Test, this is Jamaica. No, it wasn't unsupporting. We had just 5 fit people. I didn't declare. The innings closed. 5 of them were injured, and 1 of them was in ICU.
So you had no choice?
We had no choice. And that was one test match, which was the ugliest part of my cricketing career. I wouldn't like to remember that.
Because the West Indies were playing unfairly?
Yes, I mean, they had given a new meaning to body line.
You said that they were bowling to damage, not to take wickets.
They were, because they had put us in, and we were 200 something for 1. And this is the second new ball. The instructions were passed on to the bowlers. Right, you can't get them out, knock them out.
Tell me something, Bishop. Many people say that he got into controversies because he's an independent-minded man who's not hesitant to speak his mind. Do you accept that? Are you outspoken?
I think I am. I am very outspoken in the sense that I've got a built-in system. If I don't agree with something, I'm not going to sit with it on my chest.
You're not a discreet man.
Now, I have to let it off. I let the steam off my chest, and I feel much lighter.
And sometimes when you get into trouble, do you feel you regret it?
No, I don't. I don't, honestly.
You like speaking your mind?
I would do that again. Given half an opportunity, I'd do that again.
Let's take a break there, Bishnu. I want to come back in part 2 and talk about all the things that you've done after your retirement when you were a selector, you were a coach, and a leading columnist. We'll be back in just a couple of seconds. Stay with us. Welcome back. My guest is Vishen Singh Bedi. Vishen, after your retirement, you've been a selector, you've been the coach and manager of the Indian team, and you're a leading columnist today. I know you have strong views on the way the team is chosen. Do you think we're doing it in the best possible way?
Not really, no. I think we can definitely make amends. This system has been prevalent for the last 45 to 50 years.
Forgive me, when you say the system, you mean the zonal selection system?
Yeah,
What's wrong with it?
Well, when you're picking your selectors on zonal basis, you're obviously giving encouragement to parochial interests. Because if somebody from North is not going to back up a lad from North, then he'll be pulled up by the Northern authorities.
So in other words, we have an Indian team, but it's chosen on the basis that they come from Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, or wherever.
Right. I mean, I don't mind if the entire 11 comes from Bombay or Karnataka, provided they're worthy of it.
And sometimes we have unworthy players coming into the team.
Yes, you can say that again, because of the system. As you know, there are times when one or two zonal selectors would complain that their pleas have not been considered.
Would you go further? Would you also say that perhaps we lack a nationwide perspective? And in fact, we may be playing for the country, but the problem is, in their minds, they remain Bombay people, Calcutta people, Madras people, and that national spirit hasn't been infused.
You're right. I think to a large extent it's there because we speak different languages. I remember when we were playing, Tiger had introduced 1 or 2 days in a week when nobody could speak in anything except English. And if you didn't know English, well, you kept your mouth shut.
And this was his way of making the team one.
That's right.
Now, you know, I remember when you came back from the 89-90 tour of New Zealand, you were the manager of the team. You said in a very famous remark, the Indian team should be dropped into the Pacific Ocean. Were you, in a sense, in fact, reflecting this disillusionment?
No, I wasn't. I was very honest, and I was very cut up. I was very annoyed, and I wanted to hurt the boys where it really hit them maximum. Now, we had got the Australians all out for 146 runs, and we failed to get those runs. And I remember talking to the media afterwards. And what I told the media was that if today, now please listen to me very carefully, if today anybody in the Indian team wishes to commit suicide by jumping into the Pacific, I said I will not stop him.
Okay, don't throw them, but don't stop them either.
I said I won't stop him.
Would you encourage? Would you have encouraged them?
Yes, I would have. I would have, definitely, because I was very annoyed. And I was annoyed because of my intensity of involvement with the side. And I wanted these guys to feel it, feel the hurt.
Your intensity of involvement hasn't just been with the team, it's also been with creating a new generation of cricketers. You're one of the few cricketers who's involved in giving practice and training sessions to young players. Is that your way of returning something to the game?
Well, it is the only way, I reckon, we can give back something to the game. And I am what I am today, sitting before you talking face to face. It's all because of cricket.
Do you feel a great debt of gratitude to cricket? Do you feel
Enormous,
this need?
Enormous. Enormous, I promise. I'm not emotional now. And I would have been a jolly bank clerk minus cricket.
So
and,
cricket didn't just make Bishan. Cricket, in a sense, is your identity and your reason for being.
It is, definitely. And until the day I hit the sack, I hope I'm still talking about cricket.
And when you're there with these young children who you're training, some of them, in fact, are young players, does it feel good? Do you feel you communicate well with them?
Terrific. It's a great feeling. Those younger kids, I genuinely believe God resides in these younger fellas. You can mold them the way you want to. Right? Once they attain the age of 19, 20 or 21, then they'll know what is Congress I and what is BJP. But right now, they only want to know cricket. And that's a beautiful way to communicate with them.
And you're helping them realize that God within them.
Yep. This is our attempt. Our attempt is not only to produce cricketers, we are also trying to make them better human beings, better citizens of the country. And I think that is very important.
Let's talk a little about your personal life. You've been married twice and you have 4 children.
Yep.
Have you been a good father and a good husband?
Yes and no, you know, because I've got a regret, personal regret, that I couldn't devote enough time to my 2 kids in Australia. They were too young when they decided to, when we parted ways. That is one. But then again, I think fate and destiny plays its own role in one's life.
Does the separation from your 2 children, Glenneth's children, hurt you still?
Sometimes it does, because I haven't seen their growth. But the mother was tremendous. She brought them up single-handedly. She's no more, unfortunately. She died about 2 years ago of cancer. But these 2 kids are absolutely brilliant specimens of human beings.
Even though you were separated and then divorced from Glenneth, when she died, I believe you made a point of going back to Australia to be with her.
I did. I went there, and although I was only there for the service, but I flew straight from London to Melbourne. She was a tremendous human being. I rate her very highly. After my mother, she was the second woman in my life who I personally rate, very, very highly.
Can I ask, what went wrong with the marriage?
I think it was the background and mainly the education of the kids, because she wasn't willing to see the educational system here. And they studied in England for a while, and then eventually it was their upbringing. Plus we had some kind of a cultural, how should I put it, cultural differences. I was brought up in a Sikh family, and she was a very devout Christian. Very, very devout, very honest to God Christian. Maybe somewhere down the line she feared that the kids would be brought up in a Sikh tradition, and it didn't quite agree with her. And I think her fears were of her own creation, perhaps. And my biggest regret is that I wasn't able, because I was playing, I was traveling so much, I wasn't able to devote sufficient time to the kids.
The separation clearly hurts and pains still.
Yes, any separation, whether it is man and woman or business partners, separation is not good.
In '79, you got married again. Have you found happiness with your second family?
I have devoted definitely more time with my kids, but I'm still not sure whether I've been a very good husband or a very devoted father. Because
But you've tried harder.
I've tried. Maybe my commitment to the game is so deliberately intense. There are times when I may be ignoring domestic responsibilities, but my life, which is cricket, is benefiting. That's the way I look at it.
You're 53. You clearly have a lot of life, energy, years, effort, spirit ahead of you. What are the goals and targets you still want to achieve?
My main goal in life is that I want to set up this indoor coaching school. I'm working very hard at it, and God willing, it should come up end of this year.
Bishan Singh Bedi, I wish you the very best of luck, and thank you for a wonderful interview.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.